Sometimes I feel like life is moving faster than it used to. Years going by like they're months, getting older and not really having much to show for it. I feel nostalgia a lot more than I feel excitement, even for the bad times. Remembering periods that felt stressful at the time, with a fondness for all the good things I had then that I don't now. It makes me almost scared to blink, like suddenly I'll be 30 and then 40, and then it'll all be over. My life will be over. There is no story that captures this feeling better than Before Your Eyes. I've read dozens of books, watched hundreds of movies, maybe played 1,000 games. I often feel like I've seen all that stories have to offer. But occasionally, I come across something new, something that innovates. Before Your Eyes is a game I played on my phone. It doesn't use a controller, a keyboard, or a mouse. There are touch controls, but they're very limited. You play this game using your camera. You play this game using your eyes. You blink to make choices that expand your understanding of the story. Choices that determine the direction your life will take, whether you study for a music recital or sneak out with a girl. Whether you play it safe with a corporate job or risk it all to become a famous artist. Every time you blink, life skips forward. No exceptions. 1 minute you're a toddler playing in their room, the next you're at your mother's funeral. I'd strain my eyes at times to stay in a moment a little longer, so I could overhear what my parents were quietly saying about me, or to admire a painting I myself had created. Sometimes my eyes would get too tired from the strain. I'd blink without even thinking about it, and that would impact my story. In one instance, it meant that when I went to speak at my mother's funeral, time skipped forward before I could think of the words. Good stories offer insight and empathy, and I think Before Your Eyes genuinely brought me the closest I've ever been to understanding what the moment of my death might feel like. It's a game that asks big questions about what we want from our lives, about how one moment can change the next 10 years, about how we try to block out the scary and the sad and imagine a future for ourselves that will never come to be, about how fast it all goes. So it felt ironic to me that I was playing this game while on holiday, a week in Fiji, a brief moment of my life that I would never experience again. Yet on my first night I sat there, alone, staring out at a pitch-black sea, drunk, writing melancholy poetry, asking questions of my own. What does it mean to know sadness like you know your own reflection? What does it mean to lay in the dark and yearn for more? Does even paradise not satiate the emptiness of a heart? I ask myself, I ask the night, and I ask the sea. Might one of us have an answer? Longing is a compass pointing in every direction. Perhaps nicotine, a good song, and melancholy will have to do for now. They are all my pockets hold. These are hardly thoughts for a holiday, yet they were what I had. But did I want them to be my memories too? No. I wasn't going to get this time back. I didn't want to regret how I spent it. I didn't want to blink, be back in my room and have nothing to show for my holiday, but memories of regret. So I vowed that I would make each day I was away significant. Do something I hadn't done before. Experience as much as I could before it was over. On Sunday I read my book all day. The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I read it by the sea, I read it at the pool, and I read it in bed, reflecting on the similarities between my tale and Corio's. Two young men living in worlds of luxury that bordered on worlds of poverty and knowing themselves to be frauds. In the evening I was spoiled with a 4-course meal and sought out the location of nightclubs and youth. On Monday I played table tennis and chess, and watched dancers braver than I play with fire. On Tuesday I went jet skiing, fed fish, toured wildlife sanctuaries, and accidentally locked myself on a balcony for an hour. On Wednesday I took a boat to the island the movie Castaway was filmed on, jumped into the sea, snorkeled, saw reef sharks, and reflected on Tom Hanks' abundance of time on this island, and my lack of it. On Thursday I sought out natural healing remedies for my hearty sunburn, stayed in my room all day, ordered in, journaled, and reflected on how the love I once held for cigarettes had at some point in the last year been replaced with revulsion. On Friday I went ziplining, got lost on a bushwalk, cooled off under a waterfall, and befriended a few tour guides. On Saturday I woke up early for yoga on the beach, packed my bags, was disappointed that it was too rough to kayak, and pampered myself with a massage instead. On Sunday I was home, back in my own bed, like it had all never happened, like it had all been a dream. I guess I finally blinked. I spent the day reading my book, eager to reach its end. It's been years since I was lost in a novel, overwhelmed with anticipation at the end of every chapter, utterly immersed in the relationships and journey of the characters, only for it to end so suddenly. The romance at the center of everything felt unfinished. I was confused by it. I had so many questions. I wanted a happy ending. I wanted a smile on my face. I didn't get that. So if not love, what was it all about then? Was it about war and what it does to people? How 2 months can transform a person, make them obsessed with control, obsessed with victory, obsessed with eliminating any and all vulnerabilities. How you never really leave the arena. How hard you'll fight for your life even when it has so little good in it. You never really escape from the trauma of violence, from the trauma of loss. Blink, and you'll miss how a few choices can change a decade, change a society. On that Sunday, I wanted to sit with those questions as long as I could, with the novelty of reading my first good book in a long time, of feeling like I did doing the same as a child, before all the stresses and anxieties and overwhelm of being an adult engulfed me again, in that sea of noise, before I blinked and found myself once again with those big, somber questions about life. So I kept my eyes open and held on to those nice feelings as long as I could. Then I blinked, and it was today, and 6 weeks had passed like they were nothing.